Hi everyone, I'm Josh Earl, one half of the Hoops Guys, and today I wanted to look at the probability of getting a franchise player in the draft compared to the probability of getting one via free agency and getting one via trade. The last couple of days we've been talking about tanking, and my previous video we found out that for teams picking in the top 4 picks, the probability of selecting a franchise player, at least in historical terms of the past 30 years, those historical odds of drafting a franchise player with the top 4 picks was 19.17%. And the odds of drafting a franchise player in general over the past 30 years was 2.85%. Kind of tight odds there. Not so sure if they're the greatest, but how do those odds stack up with the odds of signing a franchise player in free agency or trading for one? That's what we're going to look at today. First thing to note, we're going to be using the same population and the same definition of franchise player from my previous video. In other terms, that's going to mean the 1,718 players drafted from 1985 draft through the 2014 draft, of which 49 players qualified for our franchise player definition, which in this case is going to be any player who made an all-star team and one of the 3 all-NBA teams in the same season as their team making the playoffs. And they had to do it at least twice to qualify for franchise player definition. As I mentioned, there were 49 players. Of those 49 franchise players encapsulating my full lifetime to this point, there were 30 of 49 players that changed teams as a free agent, or roughly 61.22% of the franchise players wound up signing elsewhere at some point in their career. But only 9 of those 49 players wound up matching the criteria for franchise player with their new team after signing. So that equates to 18.37% probability over my lifetime, the past 30 years since 1985, of signing a franchise player in the NBA. Those players were Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Tracy McGrady, Chauncey Billups, Dikembe Mutombo, and the Hibachi Gilbert Arenas. But what about the players who were traded during their career? Of those 49 franchise players covering the span of 1985 through now, 31 have been traded in their NBA careers. But just 19 of those 49 players have qualified for that franchise player criteria with their new team following the trade. That means that 38.78% of franchise players whose careers started during my lifetime were franchise players on another team after being traded. Those players are Shaquille O'Neal, Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, Chris Paul, Kevin Garnett, Jason Kidd, Tracy McGrady, Ben Wallace, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Webber, Chauncey Billups, Dikembe Mutombo, Jermaine O'Neal, Kevin Johnson, Pau Gasol, Tim Hardaway, Glenn Rice, James Harden, and Jesus Shuttlesworth himself, Ray Allen. So which way is the best way to get a franchise player if you are an NBA team who does not currently have one? Well, let's recap a bit. Over my 30 years of existence on this earth, the odds of drafting a franchise player are just 2.85%, although that goes up to 19.17% if you're drafting in the top 4. The odds of signing a franchise player over that same stretch of time is just 18.37%. And the odds of trading for a franchise player over that same stretch of time are 38.78%. So which would you choose? Here's a hint. It's a trick question. While getting a franchise player over the past 30 years has been most easily done via trade, then draft if you have the top 4 picks, then free agency, that's not really the way you should look at this. In fact, I think it's really disadvantageous to focus so intently on just one avenue that you reduce your emphasis on the other ones as well. Because the more opportunities you have to get a franchise player, regardless of how you get them, whether it's the draft, free agency, or trade, the more opportunities you have available to you, the more likely you're going to succeed. So while this video was about the different historical odds over my lifetime of drafting a franchise player versus signing one in free agency or trading for one, the overall lesson I want to leave you guys with is that there is no holy grail of acquiring a franchise player. There is no one right way. You really kind of have to open yourself up to the different opportunities available and hope that you get lucky and that you're in position to get lucky regardless of which avenue to a franchise player you wind up taking, whether it's the draft, free agency, or trade. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a thumbs down. If you really enjoyed it, feel free to share it on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, or any other place you'd like to share it. And if you want to be notified of our upcoming videos, of which I think you guys will find a lot of cool things coming up, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to throw in your 2 cents on the conversation, whether that's to further the discussion or to say I'm stupid on my points, by all means, comment below. I want to give a big thanks to basketballreference.com for the information that allowed me to help put this together. If you aren't familiar with basketballreference.com, I highly recommend you check it out. It's a wonderful site, and everybody who loves basketball should check that site out. I also wanted to issue a huge thanks to you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, my friends.